Hello, everybody. Welcome into another episode of Critical Hits Collegiate Community. I'm Frank Salerno, joined by always by Rob Flax. And today we have some special guests on. We've had from the UAlbany Esports team, Professor Micahel Leczinsky and Valorant team captain Matthew Thomas. Guys, thank you for joining us here today. It should be a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
So we're so happy to have two people on the show. First time in the history of the show. Will not be the last, but guys, I want to hop right into it. At the Valorant ECAC tournament in August, you guys didn't even know the run you were looking for. You fell to a very good Sacramento State. We were on that stream. We were watching it. It was very competitive. But tell us a little bit about what that tournament meant for your team, what it meant for the competition, and how you're feeling coming into the tournament, going out of it. How's the Valorant scene coming up in this space?
Well, I'd like to just kind of start off and thank you for having us on the show today. Matthew Thomas is here from our team. He's the captain of our Valorant team, and he can kind of jump into the overview of our summer activity. As you know, the game just came out, so we're building our team. We're building what we're looking to do into the fall, not only with the ECAC but also into some other opportunities that we've been approached about. Valorant's a wonderful game. It's an exciting game. I think about it as kind of like 5-on-5 basketball, quick, fast-paced. A really interesting kind of take on that genre of game from Riot. So. We're really excited about it as we build and go into the future. Matt, you want to talk a little bit about our experience and you're helping to organize the squad, to get our practices together, understand the strategies and everything that you've been doing?
Yeah, so after that game in August, basically it was really a stepping stone for us where we said we're going to create strategies. We're going to go from map to map, mark spots, make sure everything's perfect. We've been practicing for about almost a month and a half right now. So things are looking really good with our team right now.
Nice. So let me also, you mentioned Valorant obviously kind of exploded onto the scene, Professor. You mentioned that. And the viewership obviously in the professional side of Valorant is hitting extremely high numbers right now. And it's kind of coming to the forefront of competitive gaming as we know. And I think going down the line, we can all kind of agree that we can see Valorant becoming bigger and bigger as we go on. So what was the process like kind of integrating Valorant as a whole into your program? Did you see a lot of interest really early on for the game? Did you like recruit new people through the game itself? What impact did the launch of the game have on your program?
Well, we're a team of over 100 students, so we're definitely one of the biggest teams in the ECAC, if not the biggest at this point. We're really happy to be a member of the conference with over 60 schools. It looks like they're going to be going into probably 100 schools into this fall. Yeah. So we're just thrilled to be a part of everything that the ECAC is doing. We were one of two teams, I believe, that ran a team in every game they offered in our first year. And we're going to, the more games, the more opportunities there are for the students and for our program. So our program is made up of gamers. And so students, as soon as the betas were released, they were playing Valorant because they love playing games and they love, trying new games and playing competitive games. And so before the ECAC announced Valorant as their 9th game going into the fall 20 season, we were actively playing. We were talking about the game. We were participating in some scrimmages with the idea that this would be potentially, a global scale esport on the professional scale. And so we were preparing for that. We were playing the game, and then we're really excited when they added some summer play and some summer scrimmages. And then obviously as they made it an official game going into the fall 20 season, it's anytime you have a game that's kind of brand new from the ground up, once again, you have to build a team, you have to build the strategies, you have to build the infrastructure. A game like Smash or a game like, Overwatch, these games have been around for a long time, and there's competitive scenes and there's metas and there's games within the games, and there's a whole kind of ecosystem around that game. So Valorant, there's a lot of new things, and so we're hoping to continue to do well this season. But we're also looking to build as we look kind of towards the longer term perspective as well.
And you mentioned how you guys have you cover so many different games in the ECAC. You said you're one of two teams, I believe, that covers every single game. I have that correct? That's awesome. So you guys are obviously brand new. You started last fall, I believe, in 2019. How are you able to grow such a large member pool so quickly and be able to compete in these games? How did it kind of grow from the ground up in order to get all these people involved right off the bat?
So there's a couple things that have really come into play in terms of us going from 0 to 100 plus students. And
Mm-hmm.
not only are they students on our competitive team, but they're content creators and YouTubers and social media and broadcasters and students really interested not only in the competitive aspect of things, but once again, that entire ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
So, our program is really a collaboration across campus. It's supported by the office of our president and our president, Dr. Avidan Rodriguez, by student affairs, by our academic units. It's really a collaboration. And so we have a great population of gamers on campus that have been involved with our student clubs. And Matthew, I believe, is on the e-board of the Esports Club, which is a student organization. It's run by students. It's for students. It's completely, independent to what we do at the competitive level. But once again, with the Esports Club, with our Smash Club, with our guild, which is board game and tabletop, we had a great community of gamers. And this initiative, UAlbany Esports, really represents an opportunity to further further the opportunities or the potential for engagement in not only the competitive scene, but also the idea of the collaborative scene of bringing together, the students that we have on campus. And I'd like Matt to speak a little bit about the club. But another point is that we were able to build this program and to get all of this traction with our community that already existed on campus. We're really excited now to also grow that even more and to do recruiting and to have events and to have invitationals and do in-person events and do some of the work on the academic side, which I'd be happy to speak about too, that we're building into the future.
Sure. Matt, I wanted to ask you specifically because it seems like a popular theme we hear is these esports teams start off as clubs and the leadership of one has to sort of transition and find himself in that dual role of club leader, team leader, and then also that third and arguably even more important role of student. So how do you balance that and just what does that role mean to you as a team leader?
Well, when it comes to academics, it's always academics first. But when it comes to being a team leader, I'm really honored to be a part of the whole program itself. And then also being on the e-board, it seems like a really big balance, but I always have my eyes on the ball with let's win in the tournament, let's have fun at the club, and then let's focus on work. So
yeah. And Professor Leczinsky, you mentioned a little bit about the academic side. So we know personally, Rob and I, we actually met through an esports class at Syracuse University. How are you guys expanding academics in esports a little bit on in that end?
Yeah, so and also to Matt's point too, and to the question as well about balance. I see all of the work that we're doing on campus related to gaming as being complementary. I don't see it as being, just because UAlbany Esports has a competitive team and as a framework that's run by myself and my team. I don't see that as replacing a student club. I don't see that as, creating any sort of friction where, we don't have the opportunities to enjoy the different levels of engagement with gaming. So our competitive team, we have expectations, we have requirements, we have goals, and students might be interested in that. And that's wonderful. We'd like to involve them, or they might just be interested in more casual, more social gaming, or to be involved with a student organization through student leadership. When it comes down to leadership, Matthew has been a member of the esports board, the e-board, and those are the same qualities we look for in our captains, the idea of being organized, being a leader, being a great person to work with, and being a professional ultimately. And that idea of professionalism is also a part of what we do in our classes. So just like you've met your colleague in an esports class, we started an esports class at the University of Albany, which I developed and have been teaching since the spring of 2020. And that's a class where we look at the entire industry. We look at not only the theory, but also the hands-on aspects of the industry. And we have these conversations where we talk about what's happening in the industry, what are the skills we need to look at in terms of careers in the industry, and how do we get connected with those opportunities. So the esports class is very exciting. We're also offering a micro-credential. Micro-credential is where you'll take the esports class, a class on the sociology of sports, and then you'll also do a hands-on internship helping to run the organization, helping to do the streams, helping to work in Discord, helping to do the new player orientation, helping to work on some of the technology and the design behind the scenes. So with the bundle of those classes, students will be recognized of having some core expertise in esports and digital gaming, and hopefully provide them with an advantage as they look, potentially to a career in the field.
Sure. And I hear that you started this class, you're running this program, you created this like mini minor that you're talking about here. So I just want to know for both of you, clearly this comes from a place of love. You don't pour all those hours into developing a curriculum unless this is something you're passionate about. How did you guys get into this field? What drew you to esports? And when did you realize that esports wasn't just a side passion, but something that really had a lot of potential growth for you and your careers?
So I'll jump in for a moment, and then Matt, it'd be great for you to share. I've been playing games since they were in grayscale or black and white, if you will. It was green on a black background, and the game Pong, the Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo, GameCube, N64, SNES, the whole spectrum. I've been playing games my entire life, and I've been working in the technology field my entire life as well. My work at the university is focused on emerging technologies. So it's understanding what the future, in a way, of technology is, understanding the past, understanding the present, and looking to those opportunities in the future. Esports is a global phenomenon, and esports and competitive video gaming has been around for decades. It's not something that's new. It's not something that's just new because of Twitch or has just in the last couple of years coming onto the scene. So understanding the global perspective, understanding the history of it is very important. And as collegiate esports, specifically what we're speaking about today, is collegiate esports in the United States now starts to grow. The ECAC started, I think, 2 years ago with around 20 schools. Then they went to about 60, and they'll probably go over 100 this year. And the ECA is one of many organizations working in esports as well. I think we're now seeing esports and gaming as entering into the mainstream. And that was really my spark for involving the University of Albany and helping us to develop what we see in traditional athletics. We see with the Syracuse University athletics teams, we see it with teams across the United States that are known for their basketball programs or their football programs. My goal is to have the University of Albany be known in this space as one of the leaders in esports. So it's very much tied to my work in emerging technologies and my research and the work I'm doing in the classroom. And it's also, as it's apparent, I'm a gamer, and I've been playing games my entire life, and I've been, working in the technology field, and I have friends who work at game studios, and it's very much about being passionate about being interested in the field. Matt, do you have what brought you to gaming is my question.
Yeah. I first started playing video games since Halo 3. When Halo 3 came out, I didn't have it at first, but there was this game shop down the road, and I used to go there all the time. And they had a Halo 3 tournament going on, and I was like, wow, this looks like a lot of fun. So I tried it out, and I fell in love with just competitive online games, and I've been playing ever since. And when I heard esports was on the rise, at the time when I was growing up, it was still kind of like underground a little, but it kept growing. And then right when I entered my freshman year of college, I went to the Overwatch League World Cup, and being in the Barclays Center, watching two teams go up against each other playing Overwatch, that's when it hit me. I'm like, wow, this is big. And so once I heard that Professor Leczinsky was starting up this whole thing, I said, you want to know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And here I am now, the captain of the Valorant team, and I'm really happy.
And I think that's part of the goal too. When you see stadiums where the NBA basketball teams play, you see the Staples Center, you see stadiums where the Olympics are held in China, sold out. Paris, sold out. League of Legends, you see, it's really tremendous. It's really incredible to understand the scale, to understand what's happening on a global perspective. To switch gears a little bit, our League of Legends team was undefeated this year, 8-0 in College League of Legends. We won the ECAC tournament and didn't drop in a single game. really an incredible honor. Unfortunately, the big national tournament was disrupted because of COVID, as many events, not only in traditional sports as we know, but in esports were disrupted. But there was the potential, if we kept winning, to win through more of the regional bracket and then potentially fly out to Los Angeles to be a part of the actual grand championship in Los Angeles at Riot headquarters. So I think the goal is to really see how far this is going to continue to grow, and then we would love to be in one of these sold out stadiums with our students representing the university and competing with the best.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, what would it take for your program to be able to get to that level? Obviously, without COVID in the picture, what type of investment would you be looking for from an institution? What kind of interest would you need to see from people in your own institution and within the ECAC, actual community? Where do you need to go from here to where you could be? What's the biggest step? What's the biggest challenge? And how are you guys tackling it?
Well, I think we're there in terms of our support of our university and our administration, which has been tremendous.
Yeah.
They understand esports, and they've allowed us and empowered us to not only develop this program, but be one of the leaders. We won a bunch of ECAC championships. We placed second in the SUNY tournament and won $5,000 for our student emergency fund, which benefits our food pantry and students who are in an emergency. We've done some tremendous things in our first year. I think it is reflective of the support we've received, the idea of teamwork and collaboration at the university, and then ultimately our amazing students, we have all class years, we have all majors. All of our teams are co-ed. Diversity and inclusion is very important to us. And the size of our team is just a wonderful privilege for me also to be a part of and to be around so many amazing students who are so passionate and so interested in gaming and also playing at a high level. So I think our performance was there. I think the ECAC has done a tremendous job building the infrastructure for organized and professional collegiate play. I think with that infrastructure, so many wonderful things have happened to all of our student athletes and to all of our students. Being a part of the National Collegiate League of Legends tournament has allowed us not only to win the ECAC in our regional conference, but as I said, our team was undefeated, and if they continued to win, we would be in Los Angeles playing, and who knows? I mean, they could have potentially won the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting. I think we've got a lot of great support. We got off to a really great start. And we want to continue to grow ultimately. We want to continue to grow in every respect. And, once again, it just comes down to providing these great opportunities, even the ability for us to connect today and to speak about this industry. The infrastructure and the people behind the scenes making that all happen is really great and is really critical. And I think, once again, the ECAC has done a tremendous job.
So Matt, let me ask you this, kind of bouncing off of that. We talked a little about ECAC play. And as we look to grow the community together, all of us involved want to see Collegiate Esports just grow to new heights. We love to know about the storylines within the community, and everyone loves a good rivalry. Is there any team right now that going into the season now with Valorant that you have your eye on as like a team that you've been practicing or seeing like, wow, they're a good team. We can't wait to take them on and tackle that challenge ahead. Who's your little rival maybe in the back of your head you're thinking about right now?
Well, back with Overwatch, I was on the team, and RPI is definitely a team. They're a great team. Like when you look at them. So, whenever we're practicing, let's keep building up because eventually we're going to be playing RPI, and we want to really show them like we're at your level and we're ready to win.
Let me also ask you this, Matt. Obviously now you're still in college, you're still competing.
Yeah.
You got a whole nother couple of you're a junior now, you said?
I'm a sophomore.
A sophomore, okay.
Yeah.
So you even have a little while longer now competing in collegiate esports. Looking a little bit towards the future though, however, do you see yourself continuing esports as a career outside of college?
At first when I went to my freshman year, I was pursuing the film industry, but once I joined this program, took Professor Leczinsky's esports class, I 100% want to work in this industry.
Nice.
I find it very interesting, and it's just something I love, and I'm definitely going to follow it.
Professor Leczinsky, let me ask you one more question as well. You mentioned before you're a gamer, and I would be remiss to ask you, if you had to choose right now, any team in your program said, we need you to sub in for a day, you can choose one game, what game would it be?
They want me to sub in and to play on the team?
You get to choose your game. Which game do you want to play? What's your favorite game right now?
Well, the short answer is I always get the question, what is your, do you play games and what game you play?
Yeah.
The short answer is I have no time to play games. So in addition to running a 100-person esports organization with content creators and everything that comes along with all those opportunities, I'm also running an internship which Matt is a part of as an intern. I'm teaching the esports class. We're developing coursework, looking at some proposed coursework in game design and development. It's kind of it's an all day. I mean, Matt and I started our morning this morning with a 10 a.m. meeting with all of our interns. We had 25 interns. We had a game night last night, which is a collaborative night for social gaming. So we played Among Us and we played code names and lots of different, fun games just to relax. And while we're all remote, be able to still be social and be connected. I enjoy playing Fortnite. I think, I enjoy that game on a lot of levels. I enjoy it from a research perspective, 350 million active users, the monetization, what they're doing with in-game events, what they're doing with social issues as well, I think is a fascinating game. I can't build. I can't hold a candle. We won the ECAC championship this year. We also won the SUNY championship this year. To see our Fortnite players perform at the highest level. I mean, I guess what I would say is this: if you think about the NBA, what is the role of a coach? Could the coach necessarily sub in and play? And the reality is, the coach is not going to be able to sub in with athletes at the absolute top of their prime. There's no way. But the wisdom and the guidance and the mentorship and the ability to parlay that experience or apply that experience rather, and to bring the team together and to execute on sort of that macro level, that's the role of the coach. A question I often get to is, do you coach all of the games? How do you manage all the players? And the reality is with student leaders like Matthew and student leaders like our captains, some of the students on our team are internationally ranked at their games. They're internationally ranked throughout the globe as being the upper echelon of gamers in that game.
Gotcha.
They're going to know that game. I'm not going to be able to sub in. I'm not going to be able to tell them what to do in that game to execute at that level. But what I can do as a coach and what as a program director, what I can do is really set the tone for what we want to accomplish as a team and provide the support and provide the infrastructure and provide the community that we're looking to build so that I can empower these students to play at the highest level and to do what they do. That's really, I think, what it's all about. So maybe I could sub in, maybe I could scrim, probably not, but I could definitely supply some call outs. I could supply some information. I mean, you look at a game like Fortnite, which changes every patch, new patch just came out last night. So there's all different sort of aspects. The spawn ratio of chests, the different loot that's in or out of the game, right? The different things that were nerfed or different things that were buffed. And so that stuff, I could talk stats on that stuff all day and provide some insight and some overview, but don't put me in the game because I won't be able to make it happen.
Listen, setting the tone, you've definitely set the tone in this interview. The passion, it's bleeding out of the screen. I feel inspired. I feel motivated, and I'm not even on the team. But I got to say, Coach, I'm always happy to see your team play. I want you guys to have what I coined earlier in a previous show as the Riot Games Special, where you guys can win the ECAC for League of Legends and for Valorant. I know you guys took down St. Rose. That was a big game. I actually really want to talk to those guys as well, but that's for another episode of Critical Hits. But for this one, guys, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much, Matthew and Michael, for joining us on this special episode of Collegiate Communities Critical Hits. We're so happy that you guys had us here, that we had you guys here. Excuse me for stumbling at the last second here. But guys, not going to stumble through this part. We want to promote everything you guys can. So do you guys have a Twitter for your esports program, personal Twitter, anything you want to plug here at the end of the show as we wind it down?
Yeah, the number one place to find out about everything we do is albany.edu/esports. We broadcast our games. We'll be doing more with social media. We'll be doing more with the community, and that's really our hub. So that's the place to keep an eye on. And we appreciate being on the show today and shining light not only on what we're doing in our program, but the ECAC is a wonderful organization and all of the schools in the mix. Esports and competitive gaming at the collegiate level, it's a lot of fun. The idea of rivalries, the idea of high-level play, the idea of opportunities for our students. So we'll be more than happy to join you in the future, and hopefully we'll have some more championships to talk about.
Yeah, we look forward to having you guys on and covering your teams as we go along here in the season. All right, we want to say thank you one more time to Professor Leczinsky and Matt Thomas of the UAlbany Esports team for coming on our show and talking to us in this really cool episode, a unique episode of Critical Hits Collegiate Community. First time we had 2 people. It was a lot of fun.
Double the fun.
Yeah.
And guys, that's where you can follow us on Twitter, Rob_Flax, Frank Salerno_. We got your Collegiate Community Esports level on the rise. We got the content coming out, and as World starts winding up, you're going to see our coverage for that as well. And guys, don't even think about not subscribing to Esports U on Twitch. That's where this show and all other great Critical Hits content can be found.
Yep.
Thanks so much for joining us on this episode of Collegiate Community on the Critical Hits banner. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everybody.